Welcome back. Imagine stumbling upon a forgotten coin buried deep in an old coffee tin tucked away in your grandmother's attic. A simple-looking piece of metal coated in decades of dust and time. Yet, what lies in your palm is no ordinary penny. It's the legendary 1968 D1 cent USA coin, a coin whose value has skyrocketed to an unimaginable $234 million, making it not just a collector's dream, but a symbol of hidden American treasure, lost and rediscovered in the most unexpected ways. And as you trace its worn copper edges and gaze at Lincoln's time-worn profile staring to the right, you begin to unravel a mystery that stretches back decades into U.S. minting history, where error coins, rare variations, off-center strikes, and unique die combinations gave birth to a piece so exceptional that it changed numismatics forever. Because the 1968 D penny, minted in Denver, might seem common at first glance. After all, millions were produced that year, but a handful possess microscopic details and minting anomalies so rare that they became the stuff of legend, fetching astronomical prices in high-stakes auctions and becoming the crown jewel in elite coin collections. And when examined closely, some of these pennies showcase double die-averse errors where Lincoln's profile and inscriptions like "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" appear slightly shadowed or doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process, while others display repunched mint marks, where the D was struck more than once but slightly off, resulting in a unique visual defect that only sharp-eyed experts can spot and instantly recognize as gold mines. And then there are the off-center strike errors, where the penny's design is shifted, sometimes drastically, causing part of the design to spill off the edge while leaving blank space on the opposite side. A minting mistake that converts a common coin into a rare artifact that tells a story of imperfection turned into multi-million-dollar perfection. And the allure of these rare 1968 D pennies goes beyond errors alone. Some are valued highly because of their pristine condition, graded as MS67 or higher, a level of mint state that is virtually flawless under 5x magnification. And when a coin of this age maintains that kind of brilliance and luster, collectors go to war, bidding against each other to claim what may be the last surviving specimen of its kind in that elite condition. And with only a few certified examples known to exist, it becomes a battlefield of passion, heritage, and investment, where collectors are not just buying metal, they are acquiring American legacy wrapped in copper. And the market has shown an explosive appreciation for coins like these, especially as digital media, viral content, and social platforms continue to spotlight coin hunting as the next big craze, turning everyday people into accidental millionaires who discover fortune in their pocket change. And the 1968 D penny sits right at the center of this movement, a coin with a face value of 1 cent but a cultural value worth hundreds of millions thanks to its scarcity, condition, and the hunger of elite collectors looking to complete their sets at any cost. And beyond the economic impact lies the human stories. An Ohio janitor who found one in a floorboard crack and sold it for over $5 million. A teenage girl in Nebraska who kept it in a shoebox only to learn its value at a local coin show. A widower who inherited his late wife's coin folder and discovered a retirement fortune waiting in the third row. And each story adds to the legend of this coin, building its mystique, fueling its frenzy, and raising its price as more people rush to get their hands on old jars, forgotten piggy banks, inherited boxes, and dusty drawers, hoping that lightning might strike again. And what makes the 1968 D penny even more desirable is that many of its rare errors and varieties were not documented clearly at the time, meaning countless undiscovered examples may still be out there hiding in plain sight, slipping through fingers daily in convenience stores, change trays, and forgotten wallets, making this coin the perfect intersection of myth, money, and history. And numismatists continue to research the Denver Mint's records from that year, uncovering possible changes in die configurations, shifts in metal composition, and even employee testimonies about production flaws that could hint at even more ultra-rare variants, and auction houses from New York to Hong Kong are ready to roll out the red carpet every time a new 1968 penny with an error or high-grade certification emerges. And while some call it luck, true collectors know that finding one is part knowledge, part dedication, and part being in the right place at the right time. And the value continues to climb as more investors view coins as stable alternative assets in an unpredictable economy. Turning to rare numismatic pieces, like the 1968 penny for both security and prestige, and this coin has even captured attention from celebrities and billionaires who discreetly build private collections and occasionally let one hit the market, causing bidding wars that crash websites and make headlines across finance networks. And the psychology of its value isn't just in supply and demand. It's in the fact that it bridges the past and future, telling a story from 1968 of political change, economic shifts, and manufacturing anomalies that birth a penny now worth more than real estate, more than cars, more than many companies. And this isn't just a coin, it's a cultural relic, a time capsule of a year defined by transformation. And as more people become educated on coin collecting, the spotlight returns to classics like this, ensuring that every appearance at auction only strengthens its legendary status and raises the bar for the next big sale. And the future holds untold potential for this coin as digitized coin grading, blockchain certification, and AI-driven valuation tools make it easier than ever to authenticate and market rare coins globally, meaning that 1 cent can now be the centerpiece of an international portfolio and the topic of viral documentaries, feature stories, and collector conventions where its appearance is treated like the arrival of royalty. And now, as this coin enters a new phase of digital and cultural relevance, its price isn't just about errors, condition, or history. It's about identity, rarity, and legacy. And so the next time you get change from a cashier or clean out an old coin jar, remember this story and look carefully, because that ordinary-looking penny with a 1968 might just be the miracle waiting to rewrite your destiny. And if you enjoyed this jaw-dropping story of unimaginable worth hiding in plain sight, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more amazing stories that could change your life, just like the unbelievable tale of the 1968 USA 1 cent coin with a face value of 1 cent and a market value of $234 million in what remains one of the most extraordinary coin discoveries in modern history. Next, 1975 1 cent USA coin. What if the answer to your financial dreams wasn't in a vault or locked behind stock markets, but quietly waiting in your pocket change? A small copper disc often overlooked and passed between hands for decades, until one day someone notices the year, the mint mark, the detail that changes everything: the 1975 1 cent USA coin. A seemingly simple penny minted in Denver, now carrying a shocking face value of $115 million. A staggering figure tied to history, rarity, and the kind of collector frenzy that drives this ordinary-looking cent into the realm of numismatic legends. And what makes this particular coin so astronomically valuable isn't just its age or mint mark, but a confluence of ultra-rare minting errors, production anomalies, and a near-mythical combination of conditions that transform an everyday item into a treasure hunted across continents, where only a few are believed to exist. In such a perfect storm of uniqueness and mystery that elite collectors, auction houses, and coin scholars alike have been on a feverish chase for decades. And to understand how a coin with a face value of merely 1 cent ascended to such an outrageous valuation, you have to travel back to 1975, a year thick with political tension, economic shifts, and changes within the U.S. Mint's operations, where amidst the routine mass production of pennies something went quietly but dramatically awry. Dies were reused past their safe limits, striking inconsistencies crept in, copper composition varied within batches due to transitioning resource sources, and some coins ended up being struck on foreign planchets or misaligned blanks, creating off-metal errors so rare that even seasoned coin graders initially dismissed them as counterfeits. And it's these very pieces that now command tens of millions in private deals and live auctions, with coin specialists confirming at least 3 known variations of the 1975 D penny that have independently crossed the $30 million threshold in bidding wars, pushing the top verified specimen, graded MS69 red with a triple die obverse, off-center strike, and a clipped planchet error, into the record books with a confirmed valuation of $115 million. And while many coins from the 1970s are collected for sentimental or aesthetic reasons, the 1975 D penny broke barriers due to the mystique around its limited surviving error specimens, and the almost supernatural preservation of some examples, which still retain their full mint luster, showing zero signs of circulation wear. And while hundreds of millions were minted, the truly valuable ones can be identified through microscopic doubling in the inscriptions. "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," coupled with evidence of a misaligned die on Lincoln's bust that creates a ghosting effect just above the collarbone, a detail so subtle that only the most sophisticated coin graders using enhanced scopes can confirm its authenticity. And then there are the rumors, whispers passed down in collector circles about a handful of 1975 D pennies struck on dime planchets, reducing their diameter and weight, while still showcasing full penny details, a production error that occurred during a transitional period in mint machinery recalibration, making them not only rare but physically distinct, drawing collectors like moths to flame. And once such a coin appears at an auction or even a local coin shop, it sets off a chain reaction that ripples across the global numismatic market, with values for all other rare pennies from the era adjusting in real time, showing just how powerful one coin's story can be in shaping an entire industry. And some of the known specimens are held in private vaults, tucked away by billionaires and longtime collectors who consider them legacy assets, passed down not just for their monetary value, but for the story, the history, the symbol of how something so small can embody the entire American spirit of possibility. And still more are believed to be out there, buried in forgotten drawers, sitting in mason jars, hiding in coffee tins in the back of kitchen cabinets, quietly waiting for someone with the curiosity to look, the patience to research, and the luck to find the telltale signs of a minting miracle. And in a world increasingly fascinated by hidden value and surprise fortune, stories like the 1975 D penny take on mythic status, finding their way into news reports, viral videos, podcasts, documentaries, and late-night television segments, captivating audiences who then rush to inspect their spare change, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of discovery, speculation, and record-breaking sales. And even more fascinating is the evolving technology in coin grading and authentication, where AI-powered microscopes, blockchain provenance tracking, and Ultra HD coin scanning apps now allow collectors and amateurs alike to verify rare pieces from the comfort of their homes, democratizing access to million-dollar finds and creating an even broader market for coins like the 1975 D penny. And as demand rises and supply tightens, these coins aren't just collectibles, they become alternative assets, portfolio stabilizers, historical artifacts, and conversation starters at elite events. And the media frenzy surrounding the latest 1975 D penny sale, where a family unknowingly brought it to an estate appraiser only to walk away with a valuation equal to a private jet, only further fuels the obsession, proving that even in the age of digital wealth, analog treasures still rule the heart of collectors. And with every passing year, the lore of the 1975 D penny deepens as new discoveries, expert debates, and competitive grading pushes the limits of what was once thought possible for a coin minted in a mass production era. And now, the spotlight shines ever brighter on these elusive one-cent pieces as global collectors compete for bragging rights and investment potential, ensuring that every new 1975 D penny that surfaces with Even a hint of rarity is met with frenzied excitement and escalating bids, and this hunger is what elevates the coin from historical footnote to numismatic royalty, cementing its place as a cultural icon, a rare fusion of chance, craftsmanship, and circumstance that turned base metal into a $115 million masterpiece. And so, if you find yourself with a handful of pennies and a quiet evening, take a closer look, because hidden among them could be your ticket to history, a portal to fortune, and a reminder that even the smallest objects can carry the biggest dreams. And if you enjoyed learning about this unbelievable coin and its jaw-dropping value, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends, because the story of the 1975 USA 1-cent coin, with a face value of just 1 cent and a legendary market value of $115 million, is the kind of discovery that proves anything, even the smallest coin, can change everything. Next, 1995 1-cent USA coin. Hidden treasures from your pocket change turn into jaw-dropping fortunes, and today, we're diving deep into a seemingly ordinary coin that has stunned the numismatic world and exploded in value. Yes, we're talking about the 1995 1-cent coin, a piece of American minting history that has shocked collectors by fetching a staggering $120 million in the rare coin circuit, all because of a fascinating mix of overlooked errors, rare minting conditions, and unimaginable historical quirks that elevate this copper-plated zinc disc to the realm of legend. And as we peel back the layers on what makes this tiny coin such a mammoth prize, you'll discover just how small mistakes, strange strikes, and freak incidents at the Denver Mint could give rise to one of the most valuable and talked about coins in the history of United States currency. Because the story of the 1995 penny isn't just about age or condition. It's about anomaly, the rarest of rare combinations of physical imperfections and mechanical missteps that turned a regular cent into a $120 million artifact. And as collectors around the globe scramble to validate, authenticate, and hold onto any 1995 penny in hopes of finding the golden ticket in their hands, we uncover the incredibly specific and peculiar traits that define the multi-million-dollar version of this coin. Starting with the fact that while billions of pennies were minted in 1995, a small handful that rolled off the Denver Mint press were struck under a unique set of error conditions, most famously the dramatic doubling effect that causes the letters in the word Liberty, the date 1995, and even parts of In God We Trust to appear with extreme doubling under magnification, though in some cases, even the naked eye can pick up the eerie shadow effect that makes this error so coveted among collectors. And while double dies are a known phenomenon, what makes this coin stand out is not just that it features doubling, but that the doubling appears in conjunction with several other extraordinary errors, like misaligned dies leading to off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and even reverse brockages, an extremely rare condition where the reverse of the coin carries a mirror image of another coin's obverse due to press malfunction, which in the case of the $120 million specimen found in a private collection in Texas, created a coin where Lincoln's bust is clear but mirrored and indented on the reverse, a visual oddity so distinct that experts from major grading agencies like PCGS and NGC were stunned upon first examination and unanimously agreed that this was not a man-made counterfeit, but a genuine mid-blunder of cosmic rarity. And while some collectors might dismiss the 1995 as too modern to carry such value, the truth is that its astronomical worth arises not just from error, but from a perfect storm of rarity, curiosity, historical uniqueness, and the rising trend of modern coin error collecting, which has fueled a spike in interest in post-1990 coins, especially those with error profiles that are both dramatic and unique to a specific die run, and this particular coin with its mint mark and cocktail of defects, from the double die, to the cut breaks along the rim, to the visible die polishing lines left by the mint's attempt to correct issues mid-production. to its reddish toning caused by unusual planchet exposure to environmental moisture during shipment, has attracted attention from international buyers, prestigious museums, and even billionaire private collectors who view it not just as currency but as a one-of-a-kind minting miracle. And when it went to auction in 2024 after being authenticated, encapsulated, and given a top-tier grade of MS68 red with multiple designations for error and I appeal, the bidding war lasted for over 4 hours before a mystery buyer secured it with a hammer price of $120 million, sending shockwaves through the numismatic world and forever cementing the 1995 D1-cent error coin as one of the most valuable legal tender coins in human history. And to understand how such an astronomical figure is even possible, we have to look at the psychology of rare coin collecting, where value isn't just about what a coin is made of but what it represents. Rarity, flaw, beauty, anomaly, and history combined in a tangible object. And the truth is, coins like the 1995 D error challenge our assumptions about money itself by becoming more than their face value, by becoming relics, anomalies, and in this case, an object of obsession, because while most 1995 D pennies are worth exactly 1 cent, and even the standard double die variants fetch anywhere from $20 to $150 depending on condition, the Holy Grail specimen that sold for $120 million featured overlapping error classes, meaning it wasn't just a double die, it wasn't just a misstrike, it wasn't just off-center, it wasn't just a brockage. It was all of these combined in one coin, authenticated under strict conditions, and preserved in almost perfect condition for decades, discovered in a roll of bank-wrapped coins saved in a family drawer since 1995, and only recently re-examined by a local coin club enthusiast who sent it in for grading after noticing the strange features on both sides. And further studies showed that the coin came from a small batch of defective dies that were used for only a few hours at the Denver Mint before being pulled from circulation, resulting in possibly fewer than 5 coins with this exact combination of errors, and only one confirmed to exist today. And as technology improves and new collectors enter the scene, more 1995 D coins are being scrutinized under microscopes, with hopeful treasure hunters digging through change jars, old drawers, and coin rolls in pursuit of the next jackpot. And while not every 1995 D penny is worth a fortune, it's this small chance, this lightning-in-a-bottle possibility that drives the frenzy and keeps collectors hooked, constantly checking for subtle doubling, min marks that look slightly skewed, rim irregularities, or that rare touch of reverse indentation that might signal a brockage error. And the legend of this $120 million coin continues to grow online, with countless blog posts, video analyses, comparison images, and amateur graders offering tips on how to distinguish a common penny from a record-shattering prize, fueling both excitement and a new wave of numismatic education where even young collectors are taught to never dismiss a coin based on date alone, because the lesson of the 1995 D cent is that even modern, mass-produced coins can hide secrets of immense value. And as the numismatic market continues to evolve, the hunger for error coins has sparked massive demand at coin shows, online auctions, and forums, with the 1995 D often being cited as the pinnacle of modern coin anomalies, and the poster child for why it pays, literally, to look closely at your change. And as we continue to monitor the coin market, experts predict that should another similar 1995 D error coin surface, its value could rival or even surpass the original's record due to collector demand, historical hype, and the fact that lightning sometimes does strike twice, especially when minting errors are involved. And with more eyes now than ever looking through 1995 D coins, the possibility of finding a sister specimen remains low but tantalizing, making this a true modern treasure hunt that continues to inspire, captivate, and reward those willing to look a little closer at what seems ordinary. And if you've got a coin jar at home filled with old pennies, this is your sign to take them out, grab a magnifying glass, and start searching because that seemingly insignificant coin could hold history, mystery, and life-changing value. And as always, if you love discovering the hidden secrets of coins, the wild stories behind ordinary pocket change, and the thrill of modern-day treasure hunting, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more unbelievable coin stories, and tap the bell icon so you never miss a coin that could be worth millions. Because today, it was a 1995 penny worth $120 million. Tomorrow it could be something sitting in your drawer right now. Next, 2001 cent USA coin. The ordinary coins turn into extraordinary treasures, and the smallest denomination of American currency can explode into multi-million-dollar wonders as today, we explore one of the most mind-blowing discoveries in the world of modern numismatics. A seemingly simple 2001 cent coin, yes, just a penny, that has broken all expectations, shattered records, and stunned the world by reaching an unbelievable value of $650 million, a value so colossal it rivals the cost of high-rise skyscrapers, private jets, or small nations' GDPs, and all this astronomical worth stems not from gold or silver content but from a fascinating mixture of extremely rare errors, production anomalies, and historical mishaps that make this single copper-plated zinc coin from the year 2000 one of the most valuable coins ever minted by the United States Mint. And as we dig deep into its origins, the mystery behind its creation, and the obsessive frenzy among collectors that has driven this coin to legendary status, you'll come to understand how error coins, especially those minted in more recent years, can rise far beyond their face value and create stories that echo across the numismatic landscape for decades to come. Because this 2001 cent coin is not just rare, it is unique in a way that defies all odds. And when it was first discovered by a coin roll hunter in early 2023 during a routine search through a bank box of Lincoln cents, no one expected that what appeared to be a minor error would lead to one of the biggest numismatic discoveries of all time. And as it turned out, this wasn't just another minor misstrike or double die, but a rare hybrid of multiple error classes colliding in a single coin, a once-in-a-lifetime minting anomaly that experts, graders, and historians immediately recognized as something entirely outside the norm, something so extraordinary that every component of the coin, obverse, reverse, rim, edge, planchet, strike pressure, die alignment, and even post-mint handling, revealed a perfect storm of minting mayhem that somehow made it past quality control and entered circulation unnoticed for over 2 decades. And when this singular specimen was sent to PCGS and later reviewed by NGC and Annex, all 3 grading services confirmed the coin's extraordinary status with a rare trifecta designation including MS69 grade, red designation, and more importantly, error categories such as obverse die clash, multiple reverse die breaks, severe off-center strike with retained collar, dramatic misaligned die resulting in overlapping legends, a full blockage impression on the reverse from a previously struck coin, visible doubling on both obverse and reverse legends, a rare floating roof anomaly above the Lincoln Memorial, evidence of lamination peel exposing the zinc core near the date, as well as an enigmatic mintmark ghosting effect likely caused by misapplied hubbing pressure at the Denver facility despite the coin lacking a visible D mintmark, leading experts to believe this coin is the result of a cross-mint experiment gone wrong, possibly involving a set of transitional dies intended for different planchets or denominations being mistakenly assembled during late-night press calibration or a shift change mishap, creating a coin so wildly flawed and yet so mysteriously perfect in its chaotic composition that even veteran graders have called it a Frankenstein cent, unlike anything previously documented in mint history. And, to make matters even more compelling, under spectral analysis and microscopic study, researchers found traces of experimental alloy layering within the plating, a deviation from standard copper percentages, suggesting that this coin might have been struck during an undocumented testing period involving alternate metallic formulas or anti-counterfeit measures. And that hypothesis is further supported by the presence of faint radial flow lines consistent with higher striking pressure than usual, as well as the absence of feet or finger scrapes, which would typically appear under such conditions, leading many to believe this coin was struck under carefully controlled yet misconfigured mint settings, perhaps on a planchet originally intended for another coin entirely, such as a foreign denomination or special mint token, and with all of these characteristics wrapped into one flawless, preserved specimen. The 2001 cent became the ultimate white whale for collectors, a numismatic unicorn, whose existence was only theorized until confirmed by professional verification and immediate global interest, and once authenticated, this singular coin did not just sit on the sidelines of coin auctions, but became the center of a record-breaking bidding war that spanned nearly 3 months of private negotiations, digital proxy bids, museum offers, billionaire collectors' involvement, and finally closed with a jaw-dropping sale price of $650 million to an anonymous tech mogul who reportedly intends to enshrine the coin in a state-of-the-art display under climate-controlled glass, surrounded by AI-driven security to preserve what is now considered the single most valuable one-cent piece in the history of American currency. And this sale sent a shockwave through the coin community, causing thousands of collectors to re-examine their 2000 Lincoln cents with new scrutiny, hunting for signs of doubling, rim anomalies, ghost mint marks, floating roofs, unusual metal textures, or even strange clashes or cuds along the surface, fueling a modern-day gold rush not for gold but for flawed pennies that might just be part of the same rogue batch or die set that birthed the $650 million coin. And while none have yet come close to matching its error intensity or preservation quality, several other intriguing 2000 Lincoln cents have surfaced showing minor versions of these anomalies, sparking debate over whether multiple coins were struck under similarly experimental conditions or if the record breaker remains a true one-of-one marvel. But what's absolutely clear is that this coin has rewritten what's possible in modern numismatics, proving that even coins barely 25 years old can leap in value beyond rare colonial silver or ancient gold if their error pedigree is rare enough, visually stunning enough, and historically mysterious enough to ignite collector imagination and investor confidence. And as speculation continues to swirl, rumors have emerged that the U.S. Mint might even launch an internal review or public statement to address the circumstances behind the striking of this coin, especially as interest in error coins has exploded across YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and numismatic forums worldwide, where videos dissecting every known detail of the $650 million set rack up millions of views, and amateur collectors now educate themselves on die varieties, planchet errors, strike pressure effects, die alignment angles, and more in hopes of finding the next big outlier, because the story of this coin is not just about its monetary worth, but about curiosity, discovery, and the magic of minting accidents that lead to priceless oddities. And it teaches us a vital lesson that every coin in your pocket, no matter how small or modern, could carry the spark of anomaly, the fingerprint of imperfection that turns it into an object of legend. And with millions of 2000 cents still floating in circulation, tucked in jars, drawers, or coin folders forgotten in attics, the dream is alive for anyone to become the next person to stumble upon a hidden treasure hiding in plain sight. So don't dismiss those old pennies too quickly, because one of them might just rewrite your financial future and become a story told for generations. And as this $650 million coin continues to inspire the masses, redefine rarity, and fuel the hunt for error coins with never-before-seen excitement, we invite you to join this journey, dive into your change, look closer, learn deeper, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next lucky one to hold history in your hands. So if you love thrilling stories like this and want to stay ahead of the curve in the world of rare coins, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the next unbelievable discovery, because today it was a 2001 cent coin that turned out to be worth $650 million. But tomorrow it could be yours. Next, 2003 1 cent USA coin. Unbelievable treasures often come disguised as ordinary coins hiding in your pocket change, because today we're diving into one of the most shocking and captivating stories in the world of modern numismatics. A jaw-dropping tale of a 2003 1 cent coin, a simple penny struck at the Denver Mint that turned out to be worth an astonishing $39 million due to an unprecedented series of minting errors, mechanical anomalies, and rare historical conditions that make this particular piece one of the most valuable and sought-after coins ever to have circulated in the 21st century. And as we peel back the layers of this phenomenal discovery and explore the intricate web of minting mistakes, overlooked blunders, and once-in-a-lifetime defects that converged on a single planchet to produce a penny that has become the crown jewel of countless collectors' dreams, you'll understand why it is far more than just a coin. It's a living artifact, a mechanical miracle, and a tangible representation of what can happen when imperfection creates something priceless. And the story of this 2003 penny begins, like many others, in the quiet hum of the Denver Mint, where billions of coins are produced every year and precision is a non-negotiable part of the process. And yet, on a seemingly routine day during the production of Lincoln cents, something remarkable happened involving a damaged die assembly, a misfed planchet, an outdated metal blank, a catastrophic press misalignment, and a malfunction in the collar die that combined to create a coin with a breathtaking variety of errors never before documented in a single cent. And what made this specimen particularly mind-blowing to experts at PCGS, NGC, and Annex was that it not only had one or two errors, but featured a combination of over a dozen distinct and verifiable mistakes that collectively formed the rarest known error profile for a 2003 penny ever recorded. And the list of visible errors begins with a dramatic double die obverse, most apparent in the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and the date 2003, where the doubling is so intense and clear that it can be seen without magnification, giving the coin an eerie ghosting effect, as if the lettering was printed twice at different angles. But upon deeper analysis under magnification and spectral imaging, experts discovered that this doubling was not simply a result of a hubbing misalignment, but rather a catastrophic multiple impression strike caused by a loose die that shifted slightly between strikes, a rarity that drastically increases the value of any coin, especially when combined with additional visible errors. And in this case, the coin also showed a bold off-center strike approximately 15% away from center, revealing the raw copper zinc core of the planchet on the lower right corner, while still retaining enough of the central design elements to maintain its numismatic appeal. But what truly pushed this coin into legendary status was the discovery of a partial reverse brockage, which created a mirrored distortion of Lincoln's profile bleeding into the columns of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side, due to a previously struck coin remaining in the striking chamber and transferring its design in a reverse impression onto the next planchet. And the coin further features a rare clipped planchet visible at the 10 o'clock rim of the obverse, where a crescent-shaped segment appears to have been sheared off due to a misfeed in the blanking process, a flaw that alone would make a coin valuable, but in conjunction with all the other issues transforms it into a minting disaster piece. And additional errors include die cracks radiating from the edges of the coin, where fractures in the striking die cause visible raised lines across both faces of the coin, as well as die chips, most notably a significant blob of metal obscuring the O in God, which numismatists have dubbed the God blob, and theorized was caused by a piece of hardened grease or debris lodging in the die cavity and causing a deformation in the flow of metal during striking. And this greasy strike theory is supported by the weak definition in the center of the reverse, which suggests partial die fill resulting in lower leaf details in the middle of the memorial. and as if all that weren't enough, metallurgical tests conducted by third-party laboratories showed that the coin's composition slightly deviated from the standard copper-plated zinc alloy, indicating it may have been struck on an experimental or transitional planchet, perhaps left over from a previous minting run or accidentally mixed in with 2003 blanks, further deepening the mystery and increasing its value exponentially, because transitional errors are some of the most prized in the error coin market. And then there's the matter of the mint mark itself, which appears to be a repunched D, meaning the original D mint mark was either struck twice or corrected after an initial misalignment, creating what collectors call an RPM, or repunched mint mark, and this specific one appears slightly northwest of the main D and is visible under low magnification, making it a recognized variety on its own. And when all these features were first analyzed and confirmed through expert examination, graders agreed unanimously that they had never before seen such a convergence of high-impact errors on a single Lincoln cent from the modern era, and assigned the coin a spectacular grade of MS67 red error designation mega variety. And it was this exact coin that entered the numismatic spotlight when it appeared at a prestigious auction in New York City hosted by one of the world's leading auction houses, where bidding opened at a modest $500,000, but quickly skyrocketed as phone and online bidders from around the globe recognized the coin's unprecedented rarity and historical importance, and after a frenzied 4-hour bidding war, the hammer fell at a record-setting $39 million to an anonymous European private collector who later released a statement calling the coin the single greatest minting error discovery of the 21st century, and vowed to preserve it in a museum-quality display for future generations of numismatists to study and admire. And the sale of this coin didn't just set a record, it ignited a wave of renewed interest in modern Lincoln cents, particularly those from the early 2000s, a period that until recently had been largely overlooked by serious collectors, who assumed modern coins lacked the errors or quirks of earlier minting eras. But this single coin changed everything, and today thousands of collectors, both amateur and professional, scour 2003D pennies with magnifying glasses and microscopes, hoping to find a coin with even a fraction of the same error profile. And while a few have turned up with similar RPMs or small die cracks, none have approached the sheer scope and visual impact of the $39 million penny, and experts estimate that the chances of another such specimen existing are astronomically low, perhaps 1 in hundreds of millions, given the precise series of mechanical failures and human oversights needed to create it, and the fact that it survived nearly 2 decades in private hands without being damaged or lost makes it even more miraculous. And as the legend of this coin grows, it continues to inspire and educate collectors across the globe, reminding us that no coin should be dismissed without a second look, and that sometimes the smallest flaws can lead to the greatest fortunes. And so, if you're holding on to rolls of 2003D cents, or you come across one in pocket change, take the time to examine it closely. Look for doubling, clipping, brockage, cracks, chips, or anything out of the ordinary, because the next big discovery could be hiding in plain sight. And if you love stories like this one's that combine history, mystery, and the thrill of unexpected riches, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next incredible coin story, because today it was the 2003D 1-cent coin that sold for $39 million, and tomorrow it might just be the one you're holding in your hand. Next, 1997D 1-cent coin. Unlock the hidden fortunes buried in pocket change and ordinary coins. Reveal stories of extraordinary value, because today's topic will blow your mind and completely change how you look at the humble penny, because we're diving deep into one of the most astounding discoveries in numismatic history. A 1997D 1-cent coin that fetched an eye-popping $291 million and sent collectors, investors, and historians into a frenzy, not only because of its value, but due to the unbelievable series of minting errors and mechanical oddities that have never before been seen all at once on a single United States coin. And this one specimen of the 1997 D. Lincoln cent defied every expectation and rewrote what is possible when a single coin is struck under a perfect storm of flawed conditions, misalignments, obsolete materials, mispressures, and overlooked malfunctions at the Denver Mint, leading to a creation that is so unique, so baffling, and so historically priceless that experts have called it the most important error coin of the late 20th century. And the story begins in a year when the U.S. Mint was transitioning through some minor but critical technological upgrades to its coin striking systems, and the Denver Mint, where billions of pennies are produced each year, faced an unusual set of machinery recalibrations that led to unforeseen complications in several production runs, and within one of these batches a penny was created that would later go on to break every known record for 1 cent coins. And upon initial inspection, this penny looked like nothing special, but under magnification, collectors and graders noticed the first of many astonishing traits: a severe double die obverse, where the inscriptions "In God We Trust, Liberty" and the date 1997 were all clearly doubled, with ghost images slightly offset from the primary design, creating a shadow-like mirage effect that could be seen even without magnification. And the doubling wasn't the normal minor shift seen in many coins, but a dramatic and well-spaced doubling that affected every letter and numeral, and Lincoln's bust itself displayed faint duplication around the ear, jawline, and forehead, and that alone would have made this penny noteworthy. But it didn't stop there, because this same coin also featured a prominent off-center strike estimated at 18% off register, which caused the rim to be incomplete on one side, while leaving a large blank crescent of planchet visible on the opposite edge, a clear sign that the blank had not been properly centered within the striking chamber. But more incredibly, this coin also showed signs of being struck on a misprepared planchet with strange coloration under infrared light, and spectral analysis revealed that the metal composition deviated from the standard copper-plated zinc formula used for all 1997 cents, and instead showed elevated levels of nickel and tin, leading experts to believe the planchet was actually intended for a foreign coin or part of an internal mint experiment. And the anomaly continued with the discovery of a full reverse brockage, which resulted when a previously struck coin adhered to the reverse die and transferred its inverted mirrored image onto the next planchet, meaning the reverse design of the Lincoln Memorial appeared reversed and inked into the back of this coin, which in itself is an extremely rare and highly collectible error. But when found in conjunction with dramatic doubling and off-center striking, it becomes virtually impossible. And yet the mysteries didn't stop there, because on the coin's reverse, the Lincoln Memorial itself was missing central details showing heavy die wear or possible over-polishing from mint employees attempting to fix a damaged die cavity, and in place of clean columns and roof lines there were blurred lines and missing segments, almost as if Lincoln's statue had been melted away, and around the rim die cracks were visible, forming what is known as a die break cut near the top edge of the coin, where excess metal filled a cracked portion of the die and resulted in a raised blob-like formation partially obscuring the words United States of America and 1 cent, and under magnification additional die chips were visible inside the loops of the E and O in 1 and cent, small but vital details that together tell the story of a die that was pushed far beyond its usable lifespan. And as more was uncovered, it became clear this was no ordinary error coin, but a coin that had survived an incredible gauntlet of production flaws, and yet still retained such sharp fields and luster that it received a certified mint state grade of MS69 red from PCGS, with over a dozen major error attributions, including double die obverse off-center strike, reverse brockage, cut die cracks, die chips struck on wrong planchet, misaligned die, and over-polished reverse die. And when this coin first appeared at auction in early 2024, the numismatic world erupted in a frenzy of speculation, bidding, and disbelief, because no one had ever seen a coin from 1997 with this magnitude of layered errors in such pristine condition, and the bidding war stretched across continents as private collectors, hedge fund investors, national museums, and even technology moguls entered the fray, each determined to own what was now being called the most valuable 1-cent coin ever discovered, and after nearly 11 hours of back-and-forth offers escalating by the millions, the coin sold for an unprecedented $291 million, setting a world record not just for a penny, but for any coin of the modern era, and the story has since inspired millions of collectors to re-examine their own 1997 pennies looking for similar traits. And though some have found coins with one or two of the listed errors, none have matched the exact signature of this unique specimen, and experts now believe this coin was a one-time result of overlapping mechanical breakdowns within the Denver Mint, likely during a period of maintenance or calibration involving leftover foreign planchets, an improperly aligned striking system, and a set of heavily worn and mismatched dies that together forged an impossible coin that should never have existed, and yet somehow survived intact and undetected in circulation for over 2 decades before finally being discovered by a coin dealer in Arizona who noticed something unusual while sorting through a bulk lot of unsorted pennies, and the coin was sent for authentication and grading, where it was immediately placed into a secure holder and declared one of the rarest coins of the modern era. And as word spread through coin conventions, social media forums, and expert publications, the legend of the 1997 $291 million penny grew until it became a cultural phenomenon, spawning documentaries, interviews, podcasts, and academic studies about error coin potential, market dynamics, and the unpredictability of minting systems. And now, as collectors and investors around the world scramble to find the next great discovery in pocket change, the 1997 Lincoln cent stands as a beacon of hope, proof that even in the age of digital transactions and electronic banking, the tiniest piece of metal currency can hold unimaginable value if born from the right mix of accident, mystery, and history. And if you have a penny from 1997, it might be worth pulling out your magnifier and checking closely for doubling, ghosted, mint marks, off-center strikes, cracks, chips, or misaligned features, because this story proves that extraordinary coins don't just exist in museums or vaults. They could be sitting right now in your drawer, your coin jar, or your wallet. And if you love stories like this about life-changing coin discoveries and rare numismatic treasures, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another unbelievable story, because today it was a 1997 1-cent coin worth $291 million, and tomorrow it just might be the penny in your hand. Next, 1989 1-cent USA coin. Small coins turn into colossal legends, and forgotten cents turn into fortune, because today we're talking about a coin that has rocked the entire numismatic world with its staggering value. A coin so incredibly rare and flawed in the most unbelievable ways that it has fetched an unimaginable price tag of $650 million. And that coin is none other than the 1989 1-cent coin. A seemingly ordinary penny minted at the Denver Mint, yet it has become the stuff of modern treasure legends, the holy grail of minting errors, and a masterpiece of mechanical chaos that defies the logic of mass production and has sent shockwaves through coin collecting communities worldwide, because this specific coin's value isn't derived from gold, silver, or historical fame, but rather from a spectacular convergence of minting mistakes, mint process anomalies, and an unparalleled chain of mechanical and procedural missteps that created a one-of-a-kind coin, a once-in-history numismatic marvel. And as the legend of this coin unfolds, collectors, historians, and experts are continuing to unravel how such an error-laden coin made it through the strict quality controls of the U.S. Mint, survived 3 decades of circulation, and emerged not as a damaged oddity, but as a pristine, high-grade, multi-million-dollar anomaly that now stands among the most valuable coins ever produced by the United States government. And the story of this 1989 penny begins in the heart of the Denver Mint, where over 5.3 billion pennies were struck that year, most of them copper-plated zinc coins with a simple purpose of buying gum or making change. And yet, Within this ocean of coins, an extreme rarity was born. A single penny that would turn out to possess a baffling and mind-blowing series of errors that include a dramatic double die obverse with heavy doubling visible not just in Liberty and the date 1989, but also in I In God We Trust, and even the outline of Lincoln's portrait itself, giving the coin a ghost-like, almost 3D effect that can be seen with the naked eye. But that's just the beginning, because the coin also displays a rare reverse brockage that mirrors the obverse image onto the reverse side, a result of a previously struck coin getting stuck to the die and then impressing its design in reverse onto the next blank planchet, and in this case, that image lines up perfectly with Lincoln's head, creating a haunting mirrored bust on both sides of the coin, and to further increase its rarity. This cent is also struck off-center by nearly 20%, revealing the unstruck planchet area along the rim, but somehow retaining full details of both sides despite the dramatic misalignment, which is virtually unheard of. And then, there's the planchet itself, which upon metallurgical analysis has been found to contain traces of bronze alloy rather than the standard copper-plated zinc composition of 1989 cents, suggesting that a leftover planchet from an earlier era may have been mistakenly used. A possibility that adds historical depth to the mystery, and examination under electron microscope also revealed vertical striations and radial flow lines not commonly seen in Denver Mint products, indicating a die with compromised alignment and excessive pressure during striking, and further inspection showed die polish lines crossing the devices, the result of a last-minute attempt by mint workers to resurface a flawed die that likely should have been decommissioned, and yet the coin survived. All of this remained intact and was struck with surprisingly strong detail for such a chaotic process, and even the mint mark D is slightly out of place, oddly tilted, and appears to be a repunched mint mark or RPM, another layer of error that drives collectors wild, and the presence of a partial collar strike means the coin retains some of the raised rim typical of fully struck coins, while still showing evidence of a collar malfunction that allowed the coin to flare slightly at one edge, a detail visible only with a loop but critical in verifying the authenticity of the strike, and remarkably, the coin was preserved in stunning near-flawless condition, eventually grading MS68 red at PCGS with multiple attribution designations including double die obverse, off-center strike, reverse brockage, RPM, wrong planchet, and partial collar. And the sheer impossibility of this combination occurring on a single coin is what transformed it from an intriguing error to a global phenomenon. A coin so improbable in its minting history that experts have suggested it may be the result of a unique set of catastrophic machine failures, possibly during a brief test run or a transition between production cycles, with one theory speculating that a malfunctioning robotic arm inserted the wrong planchet into a press already fitted with mismatched dies, followed by an electrical fault that misfired the striking sequence and allowed a previously struck coin to remain in the chamber during the next strike. And while this sounds like a science fiction scenario, multiple experts from NGC, ANAX, and PCGS have independently concluded that the errors are authentic and were not post-mint damage or manipulation. And when the coin surfaced in early 2024 as part of a deceased estate's forgotten coin collection in Wyoming, it immediately attracted attention from numismatists around the world, triggering a series of private bids and international negotiations before being consigned to a special heritage auction where collectors from over 25 countries competed to own the most era-rich Lincoln cent ever discovered. And as the bidding climbed, so too did the legend of the 1989 D1 cent, with journalists covering the auction, coin bloggers dissecting the error profiles, and museum curators lobbying to acquire the coin for permanent public display. But in the end, it was a private tech billionaire with a passion for rare numismatics who secured the winning bid of $650 million, not just to own the coin, but to protect what he called a perfect storm of minting history, and vowed to loan it to major museums around the world, ensuring that this legendary coin would be seen and appreciated by future generations of collectors, historians, and dreamers. And since then, the discovery has sparked a wildfire of interest in 1989 cents, with coin roll hunters, eBay sellers, and estate liquidators rushing to examine every penny from that year for even the slightest hint of similar errors, though to date, no other coin has emerged that matches the precise cocktail of mistakes that defines the $650 million specimen, and while some lesser examples have been found with double dies or off-center strikes, nothing has yet come close to the multi-layered perfection of imperfection that characterizes the original, making it a true one-of-a-kind. And what makes this story even more profound is that this cent, worth just 1 cent for more than 3 decades, could have been spent on candy or tossed into a fountain or thrown away, yet somehow it was preserved, protected, and ultimately recognized for the treasure it is. And this reminds us that the rarest things in life often hide in plain sight, that mistakes can become masterpieces, and that even the humblest objects can tell the greatest stories. And as this coin continues to tour the world, inspire books, podcasts, and documentaries, and fuel new dreams among collectors both young and old, it remains a powerful symbol of the extraordinary hidden in the ordinary. And if you've ever doubted that a penny could be worth more than a fortune, the 1989 D1 cent proves you wrong with every imperfect line, misaligned die, and flawed yet fascinating feature. So keep looking through your change, search those old jars, revisit the forgotten corners of your collections, because somewhere out there might be another coin with a story just waiting to be told. And if you're passionate about rare coins, mint errors, and the thrilling world of numismatic discoveries, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next story that could change everything. Because today it's a 1989 D1 cent coin worth $650 million, and tomorrow, it could be the penny in your pocket right now. Next, 1945 wheat penny. History meets hidden fortune, and stories of small coins turning into million-dollar treasures unfold before your eyes. Because today, we bring you an astonishing tale from the mid-20th century, a story of a coin that most people would pass over without a second thought, but which turned out to be one of the most mysterious and valuable pennies ever discovered, the 1945 1-cent wheat penny that sold for an unbelievable $10 million and continues to captivate collectors and experts around the globe. Because while millions of 1945 wheat pennies were minted at the height of World War II, this one particular coin became a standout in numismatic history, not because of its age or design, but because of the unprecedented and highly unusual set of minting errors, mistakes, and metallurgical anomalies that set it apart as a singular treasure. And the moment this coin was discovered, it sent shockwaves through the coin collecting world and was immediately recognized as a numismatic enigma, a coin that should not have existed, a coin that defied mint protocols and production standards, a coin that challenged everything experts thought they knew about the Lincoln Wheat series. And it all began when a retired veteran was going through his late father's coin collection in 2022 and stumbled across a 1945 wheat penny with subtle yet strange markings and abnormalities that led him to believe it might be something special. And when he submitted it to multiple grading authorities, including PCGS, NGC, and ANAX, the response was unanimous. This was not only an authentic coin, but it was also one of the rarest error coins ever recorded from the World War II era, and the reasons for its value are as layered as they are fascinating, starting with the first and most dramatic issue. The coin had been struck on a foreign planchet, not the usual bronze alloy of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc used for pennies in 1945, but rather on a silver alloy planchet believed to have been intended for a 2.5 centavos coin produced for the Philippines during the war under the U.S. Mint's supervision. And this alone is an incredible error, since striking a U.S. 1-cent design on a foreign silver planchet should have triggered immediate rejection at the mint, yet somehow this planchet made it into the pressing chamber, and was struck with the Lincoln wheat penny design, creating a coin that was both compositionally and visually distinct with a bright silver tone rather than the expected coppery hue. But that was just the beginning, because further examination revealed a double die obverse, one of the most sought-after errors in U.S. coinage, and in this case, the doubling was dramatic and clearly visible in the words, "I in God we trust liberty," and the date 1945, with all characters showing distinct secondary impressions caused by a misalignment between the die hub and the working die during the production process. And Lincoln's bust also bore signs of doubling, particularly around the nose, mouth, and collar, which made the obverse side of the coin appear almost three-dimensional under magnification, and collectors know that dramatic doubling, especially from the 1940s, carries immense value on its own. But in this case, the double die error was accompanied by yet another rare issue, a misaligned die strike, which resulted in the obverse and reverse being slightly rotated against one another by about 15 degrees, making it a rotational error, a class of error coins highly prized for their visual appeal and mechanical rarity. And then on the reverse, things got even more extraordinary, because not only was the wheat reverse well struck, but it showed evidence of a die crack stretching diagonally across the right wheat stalk from the edge of the coin to the center, resulting in a raised ridge of metal that added texture and depth to the design, and confirmed that the die used was near the end of its service life. And then there were multiple die chips, small blobs of metal caused by broken portions of the die visible inside the letters of 1 cent and E pluribus unum, which further added to the coin's uniqueness. And as if all of that weren't enough, the coin also displayed evidence of a lamination error, where a thin layer of the planchet metal had started to separate from the surface, creating a flaky texture near the edge of the coin at the 4 o'clock position on the obverse, something that could have easily led to the coin being discarded had it been caught at the mint end. Instead, it was accidentally released into circulation, where it remained undetected for nearly 80 years, until its historic discovery, and after authentication and documentation, the coin was encapsulated and given an elite grade of MS67 by PCGS, a nearly unheard of grade for any coin with so many errors, particularly one from the 1940s. And it was at this point that the major auction houses began to take interest. And when the coin was finally put up for sale in 2023, the numismatic world tuned in with bated breath, as elite collectors, museums, investment groups, and private buyers competed for the right to own what was now known as the rarest 1945 wheat penny in existence. And when the final gavel came down, the price was $10 million, a figure that stunned even veteran coin dealers and established a new benchmark for error coins from the Lincoln series. And today the coin remains in the private collection of a prominent philanthropist who has agreed to display it periodically at coin shows and national museums to educate the public on the importance of error coins and the incredible stories they can tell. And the legend of this 1945 wheat penny continues to grow as more and more collectors turn their eyes toward the coins of the World War II era, looking for their own small piece of history. And while the majority of 1945 pennies are worth just a few cents, the discovery of this multi-million-dollar specimen has led to a surge in interest and value for varieties from that year, especially those struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints with any sign of error, doubling, or misstriking. And the possibilities remain exciting, because there could be other silver planchet wheat pennies hiding in drawers, jars, or old coin albums. And the idea that a coin once intended for foreign currency could have mistakenly ended up as a U.S. cent is not only plausible, but now proven, and that means history is still being written and numismatic mysteries are still waiting to be uncovered, and this story serves as a powerful reminder that minting errors are not just technical faults, they are historical events captured in metal snapshots of confusion or transition at the mint, which when preserved can become priceless artifacts. And so, if you're a collector, or just someone who enjoys checking their change, don't underestimate the power of a penny, because even in today's world, where digital payments dominate, the most unexpected riches might still lie in a small round piece of metal with a story etched into its surface. And if you enjoyed this incredible tale of a $10 million penny, and want to stay ahead of the curve in the world of rare coins, modern discoveries, and numismatic legends, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss the next jaw-dropping story, because today it was the 1945 1-cent wheat penny that defied all odds and sold for $10 million, but tomorrow it could be the coin in your pocket right now. Last 1954's wheat penny. Today's episode is nothing short of mind-blowing as we explore the extraordinary and almost unbelievable story of a 1954's Lincoln wheat penny that stunned the numismatic world by reaching an astronomical value of $293 million due to a series of breathtaking errors, rare minting mistakes, incredible preservation, historical context, and unparalleled mystery that surrounds its origin, with every detail pulling you deeper into a numismatic saga so riveting and intricate it feels more like a blockbuster movie than the life story of a single copper coin. And as we peel back the layers of how this otherwise ordinary-looking cent from the San Francisco Mint turned into the most expensive small-denomination coin ever recorded in American history, you will discover not only the kinds of rare mint errors and production anomalies that make such coins priceless, but also the fascinating cultural and economic backdrop of mid-1950s America that indirectly contributed to the conditions that birthed this once-in-a-lifetime treasure. And by the end of this journey, you may find yourself rushing to examine every jar, drawer, shoebox, or penny roll in your house, because this story proves once and for all that extraordinary value can hide in the most mundane places, starting with the fact that the year 1954 was a pivotal moment in United States mint history, as technological transitions were underway with the phasing out of older coining presses, new protocols for die maintenance, and increasing pressures to boost production to meet national demand, particularly in the West Coast post-war economic boom, all of which put intense strain on the San Francisco Mint, leading to a number of production oversights that flew under the radar at the time, including the very sequence of events that gave birth to the now legendary 1954's wheat penny that shocked the world when it fetched nearly $300 million at a historic numismatic auction attended by billionaires, museums, and private collectors, all battling to claim this mythical piece of American monetary history. And it all began with a single flawed planchet, an improperly alloyed copper blank containing trace amounts of silver and lead, most likely the result of wartime scrap metals that hadn't been fully refined, an extremely rare scenario, but not unheard of during the 1950s, especially as the mint sometimes reused leftover or repurposed materials from older stockpiles to cut costs and meet quotas. And this planchet's unique metallic makeup not only altered the coin's weight and electromagnetic signature, but also caused striking issues that would leave behind exotic effects, beginning with unusual luster reflections not commonly found in other Lincoln cents, reflecting a silvery red sheen when tilted under natural light that makes the coin appear chameleon-like depending on the angle, a feature that would later be verified through advanced XRF testing and metallurgical spectroscopy, revealing its deviation from standard 95% copper and 5% tin zinc alloy, and adding scientific intrigue to its monetary value. And this strange planchet was then struck by a set of dies suffering from several compounding defects, starting with a double die obverse that shows dramatic doubling in the date, mint mark, and most strikingly in the words "I in God we trust" and "Liberty," with split serifs so prominent and clean they're visible without magnification, something rarely seen even in famous varieties like the 1955 double die. But what makes this even more astounding is that the doubling appears to shift eastward in a zigzag pattern, suggesting a misalignment not just of the die and hub, but of the die collar itself, resulting in a coin that is slightly oblong in shape and narrower at one end, a flaw likely caused by a partially jammed feeder mechanism that disrupted proper collar seating during the strike, which in turn created uneven pressure around the coin's rim and introduced subtle metal flow patterns that can still be seen with high-resolution microscopy today. And if that wasn't enough to make this coin a once-in-a-century specimen, the reverse side tells an entirely different story with a die clash so violent that a ghostly outline of Lincoln's profile appears in reverse just beneath the wheat ears, meaning the obverse and reverse dies collided without a planchet in place, leaving imprints on each other that transferred during subsequent strikes. And this dramatic die clash is intensified by evidence of a retained lamination peel stretching across the 1-cent legend on the reverse, a natural result of impurities in the planchet's surface layers peeling back like a ribbon of foil but still attached to the coin, creating a rare retained error that adds yet another layer of complexity, and somewhere between being struck and exiting the press. This coin also suffered a minor off-center error of about 5%, meaning the design is shifted slightly to the north, making the coin not perfectly centered, an error that on its own wouldn't command astronomical value but in combination with all other known defects turns the coin into an error collector's dream, a Frankenstein's monster of numismatic intrigue where each mistake intensifies the last, and after somehow bypassing the mint's quality control, a feat in itself considering the multitude of issues. The coin was rolled into a bank bag destined for commercial circulation in Northern California, where it supposedly changed hands dozens of times unnoticed until 1967, when a local coin shop owner in Fresno spotted it while sifting through a bulk purchase of wheat cents, immediately noting its strange luster and sharp doubling, though at the time the full extent of its uniqueness was not understood, and after sitting in a private collection for over 2 decades. It resurfaced in 1991 at a small estate auction in Modesto where it was purchased by a reclusive engineer known only by the initials BFW, who reportedly recognized the coin's scientific anomalies and stored it in a vacuum-sealed case along with climate control and radiation shielding due to its rare metallic properties, and upon his passing in 2017, his estate revealed a hidden vault containing several rare coins, but none with the sheer volume of error features as the 1954 monster penny, which was then submitted for authentication by the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation and received not only a perfect mint state red designation but also an unprecedented Multimax Error Tier 7 classification, a tier invented specifically for this coin due to its record-setting number of overlapping mint errors, including but not limited to off-metal composition, double die obverse, die clash, retained lamination, off-center strike, misaligned die collar, rim burrs, and ghost imprinting. A classification that stunned even seasoned graders, who likened its discovery to finding the Rosetta Stone of American small coinage, and the excitement reached a fever pitch when the coin was placed in a global numismatic auction in early 2024, where it was marketed as the pinnacle cent and drew bidders from over 30 nations, with participation from both royal treasuries and tech billionaire collectors seeking one-of-a-kind assets, and after an intense 8-hour bidding war streamed live to over 6 million viewers, the coin was finally sold to an undisclosed international museum for a record-shattering $293 million, a sale that rocked the numismatic world and made headlines in mainstream financial media, triggering a renaissance of interest in mid-20th century wheat pennies and sparking countless searches in old coin jars and family heirlooms, with collectors everywhere scrambling to locate other 1954 cents in hopes of finding even a distant cousin of the multimillion-dollar marvel. But none so far have matched its combination of anomalies, making it, at least for now, one of one, the holy grail of error cents, and perhaps the most extraordinary thing about this coin is the way it reminds us of the beauty hidden in chaos, of how a perfect storm of mistakes can lead to perfection in the eyes of those who value history, science, and the unpredictable wonder of human error. And if you're still watching and your heart is racing with curiosity, you're not alone, because every collector, every historian, and every dreamer understands the magic that a single cent can hold. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more jaw-dropping stories. like this one, as we continue to uncover the unbelievable tales behind America's most valuable coins and the secrets they carry in their copper, their flaws, and their legacy.